Aw man, I'm going old school on y'all today. Hi, I'm Mac from Mac Movie Reviews, and today I'll be giving a quick review of Osmosis Jones, Warner Brothers 2001 animated film that stars Chris Rock, David Hyde Pierce, Brandy Norwood, William Shatner, Lawrence Fishburne, Molly Shannon, Chris Elliott, and the legendary Bill Murray. The film's plot centers on Frank the Tour, played by Murray, as a slovenly zookeeper. The live-action scenes are set outside of Frank's body, while the animated scenes are set inside his body, which is portrayed as a city inhabited by anthropomorphic parameciums. I probably pronounced that wrong. In the animated sequences, white blood cell cop named Osmosis Jones and cold pill Drix attempt to prevent deadly virus Thrax from killing Frank within 48 hours. Man, what other film is perfect to talk around Thanksgiving? Don't say The Iron Giant. Osmosis Jones, of course, I say this movie is definitely one of the most underrated Warner Brothers movies that they ever made. I say that because Warner Brothers Animation had a tendency to not advertise their films that well to the common folks. A big example of that would probably have to be this one, because 2D animation at the time of 2001, it was kind of a fading market, and their next film that they made after this was Looney Tunes Back in Action, and that didn't do well in theaters too, so they stopped until the Lego Movie in 2014. But it's underrated and it's least talked about, and it's a shame because this is actually a really, really good movie. The only part of this movie that I did not enjoy would have to be the live action Bill Murray scenes. Those scenes just contained of gross out humor with him, and I thought that I'm like, okay, I'm not really into that. I can pass on that. But otherwise, everything else in this film was awesome. The story was fun. It had some elements of like those classic buddy action movies, such as Lethal Weapon, and my favorite film series, one of my favorite comedy film series, in Rush Hour, with Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan. The relationship between Drix and Osmosis in the movie reminded me of those two. They reminded me a lot of Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker in that regard. Now I have to say the voice acting was great too. Like I said, I'm gonna go back before with Osmosis and Drix, voiced by Chris Rock and David Hyde Pierce respectively. They both had great chemistry. They really felt like they were friends, like behind the microphone. They were actually cool with each other, and it made it a perfect more synergy and chemistry with it. And I think the last thing that really stuck out to me was the animation. The animation, they had a lot more work around to do it. So since it took place inside Bill Murray's body, they don't have to necessarily pertain to laws of physics in real life. They can always be like, oh, it takes place in the body, so it can be worked around in different ways and such. And I thought that was really cool, because you can set up the body, internal body, and set it up to what we know in the modern world today as some other stuff. Like, for example, there's a Planet Hollywood in his body, which I thought it was cool, little reference to the time. Anyone remember Planet Hollywood? Those were the days, 2001. Just good old days. Overall, Osmosis Jones was it's a fun anime film to not only watch during like your science class, which if you are watching this or you've read this on my Instagram, then you know that this film, you've probably watched it once in your life because of science class. It's really a fun film to watch like anytime, specifically now during Thanksgiving time. But I'd say no matter what, you should definitely give Osmosis Jones the love it deserves. It's one of the most underrated animated films of 2000, and I'm going to give this one a 7 out of 10.